Welcome to the Wednesday edition of The Box Seat. I'm Adam McGrath and joined again by Mark Olmos. Mark, 7 races to take a look at this Wednesday, a couple of newcomers as well, but I think a pretty exciting card.
Yeah, it is. Welcome to all our viewers. Adam, really looking forward to seeing the likes of Hello Paris and Beaucount, who returned from their cracks at the Oaks and the Classic.
Yeah, there certainly are some good Saturday horses racing in this card, but let's take a look at the conditions that we are going to be faced with. The Movable Rail is out 12 metres, running on a good four and conditions looks good as well, so looking forward to this card. So let's get straight into race number 1. It is an event for the 2-year-olds over the 1,000 metres. Some horses that we're familiar with, but plenty coming in from trials.
Yeah, only 2 with race experience, Adam, so it should be an intriguing affair, and all of that trial form will come to the fore here, but we'll have a look at Invincible Mode 2 starts ago, running second behind Dainty Tess.
A little from Dainty Tess about to join it, then 2 lengths. What's Up Doc parading down on the inside. Then came Dia de la Raza. The favourite now draws alongside at the 200 of Invincible Mode. Dainty Tess. Dainty Tess moves a length in front. Invincible Mode is sticking on. They've got the others well and truly covered. Dainty Tess though going a bit better than Invincible Mode, and it's Dainty Tess. She did some work but beat Invincible Mode.
It's a good horse, Invincible Mode, and that was a really good run there. Obviously beaten by Dainty Tess. We know those form lines, but I remember when we did the preview for the race after the 1200 metre event, we just said it's just too far from Invincible Mode. This is a horse that has plenty of speed, will enjoy the 1,000 metres, now comes back to that suitable race. You add the 2 kilo claim to Jordan Turner, I can just see this horse jumping, leading and winning.
I think you're so right about the extra 200 metres last start, Adam. I think it was a bit too much because they did try to get him to settle, did Stephen Parnham on top, and he just wanted to go fierce. I think the 1,000 metres will suit. He'll be allowed to roll along, and as you mentioned with the claim this time, he looks right in this race. The other one with race experience is number 6, Taken High, out of the Jim Taylor yard. Jason Brown rides this one, comes out of a Sweet Aura race. Now, form lines behind Sweet Aura since have been okay, but was beaten 6.3 lengths.
I'm pulling my hair out with these Jim Taylor pair because I think the number 5 is better than the number 6, but Jason Brown has ridden both and he should have had preference. So I'm confused what's going on here. We'll start with Taken High because, as you mentioned, it was a good performance there with Sweet Aura. It jumped at $31 chance, but I actually didn't mind the trial that it won before that and just raced tight throughout and probably will take a big learning experience from that as well. So I'm expecting a better performance, but I then thought number 5, Scalabrino, was a way better trial. Loved the time, liked the way it went about it as well. There was also a horse coming the other direction through that trial, so they pulled up quite significantly, and as I said, the time was good. You had Jake Casey's claim to it, now just 55.5 kilos from barrier 5. I'm leaning towards number 5, the Jim Taylor pair, but there's just a bit of intrigue about it.
I was a big fan of the trial as well from Scalabrino by Moshe, of course, as is number 4, Out of the Way. Of course, Moshe is a full brother to Black Caviar, the champion, and his stock are just hitting the ground now. They seem to be going quite nicely. Even Out of the Way, it was beaten by 3.3 lengths, but behind Red Noir now. Red Noir is one I've got a bit of time for, a filly who's also in this race.
Yeah, I really liked her trial as well. She was able to win that by over a length and just did it comfortably. William Pike was on board there. Stephen Parnham picks up this ride, so it's a nice one for him. Barrier 1, I think she'll get a really nice run. And we know that the gallopers by Oratorio always run early as well here in the West, so she certainly has to be in the numbers. But I'm going with number 1, Invincible Mode. From number 5, Scalabrino, 9, Red Noir, and a 10, Wild Gust.
Yeah, I've got the one on top as well, Adam. Invincible Mode from the 6, Taken High. Number 5, Scalabrino, and number 10, Wild Gust.
Race number 2 at Belmont Park. It is Perth race number 4 for our Singapore viewers. It's over the 1,000 metres. Unlike the first race, we have more race form here and a few coming in from trials.
Absolutely, Adam. It's an interesting field, this. There is one first out of them quite kennel, but we'll get to that one a little later. Let's have a look at the replay of number 6, Nordic Gem, last start, running second at Northam.
9 led them for home from on the outside, Nordic Gem. And now here comes Stormy Planet, about to come around the heels of the leader, Planet 9. Virtuosos down the outside, Confirmation back towards the fence by the 200. Planet 9 tackled on the outside by Stormy Planet though, and Stormy Planet now stormed past it, races away by 2 or 3. Nordic Gem, Virtuoso will battle out the minors, but Stormy Planet has...
Good performance here by Nordic Gem. Just ran into a better one in Stormy Planet, which had been racing well. I remember William Pike hopping off Stormy Planet the race before and just said whatever we go in next, it'll win, and that was the case here. Paul Jordan's stable at the moment. It's going really well. They've had some nice winners. Virtuoso was in that same race and actually finished behind Nordic Gem, but I preferred the run of Virtuoso. It was wide through the early stages, and when the race was there to be won, actually loomed up and went in front. It was just over the final 100 metres that the extra work that the filly Virtuoso had done caught her out, and she ended up fading back, and Nordic Gem ran second. So I think you can really analyse that race, move forward. I think they're both winning chances for this, but I'm probably leaning towards Virtuoso if it can get a cushier run.
I'm a big fan of the Paul Jordan runners and how they go about it. You know, straight to the front, and they give backers every chance in the race. It can certainly sit outside the leader here again, and and run a really bold race. And as you mentioned, the 7 Virtuosa as well, back around the bend at Belmont was good when returning to Belmont, and then last, as you mentioned, good. But number 9, the one I'm really keen on, Mescanet, the blinkers go on this first starter, a filly by Fath. Really intrigued to see how she'll go.
Yeah, with the Darren McCall stable, Jordan Turner to run, so the 53 kilos. Does have a wide gate, but I was really liked the trial as well. Was ridden by William Pike on that occasion and just loomed up nicely. Looks to be a galloper with plenty of potential. We know that the gallopers by Fath as well, again, just relish the WA conditions and seem to go really well. So I think this could be a nice performance by the filly.
Another one, Adam, one that we like in particular, number 3, Crown of Lights, another one who's had the first start. Jared Noski goes on for Grant Williams. The only concern for me is barrier 11.
Yeah, it is the concern, but from what we saw in the trial, this horse is going to be something. We've seen Grant Williams just produce so many over his time, whether it's in the cerise or white or any other colour at the moment as well. He just seems to be producing winners, but I love the way that this horse strode out late, just cruised across to the early stages, had that speed, and once William Pike asked, the horse just responded. Now, this was a $2.30 favourite when jumping on debut at Pinjarra, returned with lacerations, that time was beaten, so you put a line through that. I think this is a horse we're going to see much more of, and I think can be winning here first up as well. So I've got number 3, Crown of Lights, on top from 7 Virtuosas, 6 Nordic Gem and 1 Outstretch.
Yes, I got the 3 on top as well, Adam. Crown of Lights from the 6 Nordic Gem, number 9 for 3rd Mescanet, and number 7 Virtuosa.
Race number 3 at Belmont Park. It is Perth race number 5 for our Singapore viewers. It's over the 1,200 metres. What I like with this race, Mark, there is plenty of speed, and there are a couple that are really going to appreciate that and run on strongly.
Absolutely, and the ones with the speed will run along well. Could get a few off the bit in chasing, including number 7, Bangalore, whose first start in the West at Belmont 2 starts ago was very good in winning.
Straightening up, Bangalore leads by 3/4. Jack and Sam giving chase, but the leader has bounded away inside the 250, and then came Pop Hero. Caribbean Cruise on the inside. Further back is Long Knife. Bangalore, he's off his feet at the moment. He's just in front. Pop Hero's coming through. Bangalore hanging on though from Pop Hero, the favourite. I think he's going to do enough from Pop Hero. Great battle for 3rd, but Bangalore came away.
There was a nice performance there by Bangalore. Wobbled about 250 metres out, but then knuckled down again and was able to win by just under a length of Pop Hero, which we know those form lines have been reasonable as well with Pop Hero's form this preparation. I've got question marks about this horse though, especially at the 1,200 metres. Last start was beaten 4.8 lengths by Stable Secret, but you can put a line through that. It had an elevated heart rate, but has had 4 starts over 1,200 metres prior to racing here in the West. Has never placed the 55.5 kilos. As I said, it won with the 54. So, going up 1.5 there. I just think there's some better horses in this field.
I did see that distance record as well, Adam, and it is quite alarming, but you've got to take into consideration those 1,200 metre races would have all been in Hong Kong, very, very high pressure races, and would not have got it easy out in front. Here he'll go to the front and he'll get it a lot easier than he would have in Hong Kong. As you mentioned though, there is a little bit of other speed around. One of them is number 1, Furious Dame, this mare by Universal Ruler. Surprise, surprise for Darren McAuliffe. Yeah,
she's flying along, isn't she? She's hurt punters a little bit. I remember Twitter at the Perth Racing page went off the other week with a couple of punters been hurt by following Furious Dame. She hasn't won for 208 days now, but she's been so consistent. You take a look at her track and distance record, 5 attempts, she's placed on 4 occasions. She must be getting closer to a win, and with the speed that's in this race, I can see her parking right behind Pegatigo and Bangalore and also McCrawfie's Hope, and then being the one that lets down the strongest with the most in the tank. I think this is a winnable race.
Pegatigo, another one you mentioned, Adam, with Kate Fitzgerald's claim on here, could be hard to run down. I'm a big fan of this galloper.
Well, you always take note when Danny Miller hops on a horse, especially for David Harrison. It's a weird combination. So we knew exactly what they were going to do last start, and all of a sudden Pegatigo's out by 3-4 lengths. It took the flashy Dundee just to grab this horse late, but now you add the 3 kilo claim with 55.5 kilos. I really think that this horse can win. Beat Coruscation last start and meets it better in the weights as well by 3.5 kilos. So I've got Pegatigo on top here from number 1 Furious Dame, 6 Countercat and 5 Coruscation.
I'm going the 7 on top, Bangalore. Forgive last start from the 1 Furious Dame, number 3 Pegatigo and number 5 Coruscation.
Race 4 at Belmont Park. It is Perth race number 6 for our Singapore viewers. It's over the 1,200 metres and one of the better fields of the day. Horses on the up. We know Regal Gleam's a nice type. Count to Mozoff. Chocoholic showed plenty on debut as well. Then some horses that we've just already seen the class, like Bowcount, returning from a big race, of course, in the Diana Plate.
Absolutely. Bowcount led on that occasion and knocked up quite severely. But we'll have a look at the replay of the Simon Miller train 9 galloper Regal Gleam last start, running second to You're a Rummin'.
The stablemate Extreme Dreams coming to the outside. Mr. Invincible Man is last of all. 350 to go, and Hughes got it, had shifted ground. Regal Gleam's got up on its inside. You're a Rummin' closing in with So Fancy, but You're a Rummin' when they go by the 150 stormed up and grabbed the lead from So Fancy. Regal Gleam, and here's an appropriate win in the Noel Carter handicap, part owned by Noel, and You're a Rummin'.
It was a good performance there by Regal Gleam on that occasion. We know that she has plenty of class as well. She's 1 from 1 at the track and distance from barrier 11. I think she'll be able to cross in this field quite comfortably and be able to sit outside the leader with the 57.5 kilos. The form lines are good. Warjean and also You're a Rummin'. I think Regal Gleam here for the Miller stable, which is going along nicely again at the moment, can certainly play a part in the top 4.
Does look one of the ones to beat. We've also got number 5, Count to Mozoff. First start was so impressive in winning, was wide and did a lot of work. Then last start didn't have too much luck behind Astronomite. We know how good Astronomite is going.
It had no luck. Poor Paddy Carberry. I think he's still pulling his hair out as well after that ride. Everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. Of course, jumped from barrier 8 on that occasion, came across hills numerous times. I think bashed into the rail once, then got pulled out, found more hills. Finally saw daylight late and rattled home in 34.69 to finish third, 2 lengths behind Astronomite. I don't know if it would have beaten Astronomite on that occasion, but certainly would have got a lot closer. And I think those form lines are good enough to be winning here. From barrier 3, 58 kilos. Bit more of a spread in time between runs as well. I think Count to Mozoff is the one to beat.
Just inside of Count to Mozoff, 1 barrier next to it is number 3, Bow Count. As you mentioned, Adam, back from the Diana Plate and the Belmont Guineas. Now, the Diana Plate, he led and that was not to suit him. I think he can lead and win races, but over the shorter trip, maybe not over the 2100 metres. I never like to go against what Fred Kersley does, but back to 1200 here is a concern, but I think he can get to the front. With the 59 kilos, he'll have to stove them all off.
Well, you go back to 3 starts ago, 1200 metres at Belmont Park, led throughout and then was just pipped late by Uptown Funk. Again, a horse that was in really good form. Then in the Guineas was a really good performance. It was run of the race in the Guineas. It's as simple as that. And last start just struggled in the Diana, as you mentioned. But Bow Count is probably the horse with Count to Mozoff that is going to go the furthest, I think. I think we'd all agree on that. Question mark though for 59 kilos with me and dropping back 2100 to 1200. Is this horse going to be fresh enough? I've left out my numbers, but I'm prepared to have egg on my face here because, as you said, you do not take on Fred Kersley, so he will know exactly how this horse is going and wouldn't be surprised to see a big performance at all. But I'm going to tip number 5, Count to Mozoff, from 9, So Fancy, 2, Regal Gleam, and 6, Tucky's Lad.
I've got number 3, Bow Count on top. I'm hoping he's still fresh enough to go well over 1200 metres. From the 5, Count to Mozoff, number 10, Massachusetts, and number 9, So Fancy.
Quick, it's on,